What's up, you guys? So, Steven here, host of the Way Too Clutch podcast. What you're about to watch is an interview with YouTube and Instagram sensation, Coach Kamm. She has been really transforming a lot of lives out here in the Inland Empire, Southern California. But really now she's really taking over the world and inspiring a lot of women and little girls to stand up for themselves and also become super empowered women as well. Me and Kamm have a several year friendship. We've known each other for 5 years, and we had a conversation on Instagram Live, and she wanted to come and listen. This is her words. She wanted to come sit down and do less talking and more listening because she says she's always talking. But check this out, you guys. This is only part one. We have a part two coming out. So you guys sit back, listen, and appreciate you guys for tuning into the Way Too Clutch podcast. All right, fool. What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Way Too Clutch podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Crawford, aka Klutch, where we bring you everything faith, family, fitness, and mindset. And today is an amazing day. We have our first guest here. It's kind of crazy because when I started this podcast, it was initially just to kind of mind dump and for me to come here, sit in this room and just talk and just kind of get my thoughts out. But over the time, I've met some amazing people who have really, really amazing stories. My first guest on the podcast here, you actually can turn the light on now. Hold on. You want to flip that switch right there.
You got me doing stuff.
Yeah, manual labor. We're here. Welcome to the Red Room. yeah, welcome to the Red Room. So, guys, we have Coach Kamm, the famous Coach Kamm, joining us today.
What camera?
You're this one. That's you. That's you over there. So, look, we initially had a conversation about going live together, and she's more busier than the president of the United States, so we kind of couldn't plan that out. But we decided to kind of come on here and do a podcast. She was live, but went off live. I think her focus was a little bit, she couldn't do this. So we decided to just make it, a podcast style, so we can have these clips to go out later on. It's going to be pretty dope. But we have a couple questions, and this is going to be new. It's going to be interesting because she apparently has questions for me too. Things that she wants to know, things that she's curious of. But first and foremost, just really quick, just explain to the people who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
So my name is Coach Kamm, but Camille is my real government name. I am a professional and amateur boxing coach. I try to give insight and provide self-esteem and self-worth to people who don't have it at the current moment. And I deal with kids, I deal with adults, and I deal with fighters. And I am also a mom. So that's the most important job in my life as well.
Yes, that's how we connected, because I have kids and my girls wanted to get into boxing, and it was probably like 5 years ago now. Mm-hmm. My twins wanted to get into boxing, but if y'all know me, I'm super protective over my kids. I don't like them being everywhere. I don't let them be everywhere. But she did a great job with my girls. They still love her to this day. We kind of get a chance to go back every so often. She keeps moving further and further and further up the highway. But it's still a good time whenever we get to connect. But the second question I have written down here is, what made you get into boxing?
As a form of self-defense. I was suffering from a lot of insecurities myself, which put me in a very bad relationship with a man who, for lack of better words, he put his hands on me. And one day I just snapped and I left. And then I decided to take up boxing.
Okay, so when you decided to take up boxing, did you just start going to take lessons yourself? Or how did you turn towards boxing? Was it a way to get like the aggression out?
Yeah, and it's weird because people ask me, out of all the combat sports that you chose, actually it kind of chose me. I was walking on the street. I had nothing. Everything I had was in our home at the time. And I was bruised, and I saw a boxing gym by our house, and I walked in and I initially wanted to take classes for myself, but I ended up helping teach other people, and now I'm here.
Okay, you are a phenomenon on Instagram nowadays. I remember when we got history. Okay, we have history. So I remember when we came when I met you. Then it was like I looked up and I was like, oh shoot, she done took off. And for those who don't know anything about me, I am a health and wellness coach. My own healthy shake and smoothie bar.
He's a mogul.
I do a lot. I do a lot of things. Yes, I travel. I guess I do motivational speaking, personal training. I do a lot in the fitness industry, right? I do a lot, and I'm looking to make some huge, leap. But I've been a part of the fitness industry for probably 12 years now, and I actually got started. You want to know? You want to know why I started? You probably don't know this, right?
I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so I got into fitness and working out because I was playing professional basketball in Iceland, and
you did tell me that.
Yeah, so but I was very very skinny, and I had no facial hair. Not like I have facial hair now, but I didn't have. I was super super baby face,
okay,
and I was skinny. I was 6'3", 155 pounds. You know weights. You're very familiar with weights. So just imagine a boxer coming to you 6'3", 155. We probably got some issues.
Yes.
Yeah, we got some issues. Yeah. Right. So as a I look like a kid, and we went out one night, and in Iceland there's no age limit on drinking. So
really?
you can go. Yeah, there's no age limit. And so we were at a bar one night, and I was in the bar, was trying to holler at some girls.
Of course.
It's not, of course, it's what you go out to meet people, whatever. So I'm here and I'm trying to holler at some girls, right? Mm-hmm. And the girl looks at me, in her language, it would have been like boy, like little boy me, right?
No,
it's crazy. I was probably older than her, to be honest. She's probably like 19, 20 years old. I'm 22.
Okay,
right, cool. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, dang, this ain't working for me out here. And now we went and sat down, and it was this group of girls who they were like super dressed up. You couldn't tell if they were like 26 or 16. It was kind of crazy. But the girl was like, she came over, was like, oh, my friend thinks it's cute, blah, 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 exchanged your numbers. And my friend was like, oh, I go to school with her. My friend is a point guard. He's 17 years old. So he's like, yeah, she's 16 or 17 years old. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm attracting people way younger than me, and I'm not attracted to people my age, and it's because I physically don't even look like a man. And so I took that super personal, and I started working out 5-6 days a week. I started studying PT. I started studying with different what foods would make me bigger, faster. Yeah. And when I came home, I actually was 180 pounds. And so I got obsessed with fitness, and it was because of women, man. Like, it's because of women. Ain't that something?
So women changed him, and a man changed me.
My whole life they've been changing, but I think we change each other sometimes. I guess, y'all.
I think we'll get to that in just a moment.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, we're rolling on here. So we want to get the fluff out of the way first. All of the getting to know you questions, and so, what moment did you know that things took off for you? That you weren't regular anymore?
When the game hopped in my DMs.
Oh, well, yeah, that'll do it. That's the blue tech before you can buy it.
When my phone kept going and going, it went from like 50,000 to 70,000 in 2 days, 70,000 to 90,000 in the next 24 hours. And then all of a sudden I'm just where I'm at now. I was like, oh, and then Instagram gave me a blue check. I didn't even have to do anything for it.
You didn't even pay what people paying for the blue checks?
People paying for the blue check. They gave it to Coach Kamm.
Yeah, that's crazy. What was you have a lot of quote unquote viral moments. Is there one that just stood out and like really boosted you?
Yeah. The big dude hit me to the body.
Light-skinned guy.
Yeah,
I was afraid for you in that video. I was like, yo, I don't even know what this is, but that was kind of crazy. So your thing that I see get posted a lot is like the mitts, right?
Yes.
You do the mitt work.
Yes.
Is that something that, because I'm not sure, because, okay, I'm such a novice when it comes to boxing, right? I got my gloves in the car, though. Don't trip.
I see them.
We're going to get... just so you can make fun of me. But we're gonna look. I'm gonna learn, but I'm committed to 2024. You guys, learning the technique of fighting and proper, all of the things. It's just kind of when you get a little bit older, there's some embarrassment that comes along with it because
what embarrassment?
Because oh my god, you don't know how to throw a punch. Yeah. But but I definitely plan on doing that. But so what do you most enjoy? Do you like actually the throwing of the punches or holding the mitts?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
What got you into holding the mitts? Because I don't see everybody doing that.
Truth?
Truth.
I saw that it was what everyone was doing out here.
Okay.
And then I tried to make it my own thing. So.
Okay. Now you definitely did that because I see people hold mitts and it looks very different.
Different how? Stephen Crawford, tell us. Different from me. You said to ask you questions.
There's professionalism, and there's it's like if you hire somebody to if you hire somebody to lay carpet and you're like, oh shoot, I don't want to pay the premium.
Okay.
I'm gonna have this old boy, my buddy, my Migo homie, just come and he lays it and he's gonna charge me half the price, and it looks like half the price. Right? So it looks like premium work.
So you would think I'm expensive if you saw me on social
media. I would think that it is like, there's celebrity trainers and then there's personal trainers at gyms. I would put you at the tier of like a celebrity trainer.
Aww. Yeah.
Not that I know the difference, but if I was just a person just on looking,
huge difference.
It would look. It's a world of difference. So you gotta look. Yesterday's price is not today's price. The price is up.
Always.
You got to pay for your value, right?
I am expensive though.
Oh, okay. I don't even really know what that means. Yeah, Kamm she's bougie too as well. So
no, I'm not.
You gotta look. She has a certain
guy wearing Givenchy.
I'm wearing slides.
Sixth guy. Get out of here.
Look, this is
range.
Hey! Somebody gifted it to me.
Himself.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Anyway, sometimes look, some of us have goals to check off, which is actually my next question: is what are you trying to accomplish with all the things that you're doing?
I want to be known all over the world. I want, when people talk about coaches in their home, I want my name to be brought up next to Freddie Roach's, next to Abel Sanchez, and just people like that. I want people to know. I want the housewife to know me. I want the athlete to know me. I want the 3-year-old little girl to know me. I want everybody to know me. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I want to adjust your camera a little bit, but this one.
No,
or that one.
No, I'm gonna move that one a little bit because you keep leaning in. No. You have to find your sweet spot. But while I'm doing this, I want you to talk about what are your inspirations right now. What are the things that inspire you, or the people that inspire you? I see you post. I think you called Dad. Manny Pacquiao a lot. But talk about the people that you draw inspiration from and that inspire you to continuously go.
There's not a lot of people from my country that create a wave, especially in boxing. There's only a few of us. So Manny Pacquiao is definitely one of my biggest inspirations, to go from nothing to absolutely everything and to just impact the world and be so humble at the same time. I think it's just amazing.
Okay. All right. So, well, now that we got the regular questions out of the way.
Oh,
no, just kidding. Just kidding. I have one more though. This is actually a question from somebody who asked in my DMs. They wanted me to ask you this. It's a
yes, I'm single.
Definitely wasn't going there with that yet. We're not there. We're not at that point in time. Okay. But the question is, and I think it's a more serious question.
Okay.
It says, how does she pour into herself to be able to pour so much into others? Obviously, this is somebody who looks at you as somebody who they feel like they get a lot of value from you, that you pour into people. And I'm willing to bet you probably don't even know this individual. So,
oh man, I am such a emotional person. Whenever I hear questions like that, my answer is truly I don't pour into myself as much as I need to.
Absolutely. I agree.
I don't know where I find whatever I need to find to give to other people, but I just do. And it happens in the moment every single time. So, and I think you know this too, when you're training people, you harbor a lot of their emotions, even though you're just working out. There's just always these moments where you guys feed off of each other's energy and emotions. And what people don't understand is as trainers and as coaches, we, on top of what we have going on, also carry your baggage as well in that moment that we're spending time with you. So, I mean, I pray. I think that's the most pouring into myself that I do. I pray a lot, a lot. Every chance that I get that I'm by myself, I pray. Even if it's just one word or two words, or I look up at the sky and I go, God, please. And He already knows what I mean when I say that. So, yeah.
Okay, that's a beautiful answer, and also because I do know you personally, I do agree. Because I was always told, you can't pour from an empty cup, and it gets tough. So I can imagine moments that you have, but also we are doing something that we absolutely love.
Yes.
For me, I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, and I'm going until 9, 10 o'clock at night. And some days it's rough, but I'm sure just like me, I'm sure you find in the middle of the day like this boost of energy because of what you're submerged yourself in. Like you love this. You look around like I love this. I love what I do. And I think there are certain people that have this God-given ability to not need much to give. Like my cup does not have to be completely filled in order for me to give it to somebody else because we're ordained. I feel like we are ordained to be kind of like sparks for people, kind of like gas for people. And, unfortunately, sometimes we don't think about ourselves often. But here's an issue with that.
There's an issue.
There's an issue. There comes an issue. We don't have a lot of room for relationships. Now, as we go.
We do. Okay.
This is what we're going to talk about.
Here we go.
Because I get on your live sometimes, but I was on the live the other night, and it seems like you always get relationship questions, right?
Yes.
And being an attractive person in a male-dominated sport, standing out, you kind of get, I'm sure, because even personal training, I see how the women get like bombarded on a daily basis, right? And everybody wants to know how you're single. Why are you single? Which I think is a very weird question. Like you're supposed to be in a relationship. Like oh my God, you look like this and you supposed to be in a relationship. Okay, but let's ask the question. First, you already answered the why that you are single. Why would you think that yours? But that's not even a good question. I don't want to answer that question first. Okay. Do you want to be single? That's where we have to start. What's the desire for Coach Kammmm?
I like being single.
Okay.
However, I miss being in love. Should I keep going?
Oh yeah, this is absolutely because I don't want to. I know you got all kinds of thoughts, but this is a conversation. This is me and you having a conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I miss being in love. I miss having someone to go home to and to hold me when I need to be held. And I miss telling somebody how my day went. And I just miss that feeling of companionship. Sounds like I need a dog, huh? I have 3, by the way. They don't do a damn thing.
Yeah, they can't talk back, but so with that, your the desire is there. Got it. Because at the end of the day, and just for people to know, I am very much in my spiritual journey right now.
Are you single?
Me, am I single? I am single. Yes.
Okay. Just I had to ask for some women.
Yes, I've been single probably 7, 8 months now, somewhere around that realm. Gotten out of a couple of year, 4 or 5 year relationship. And from that I'm on this very personal spiritual journey, right? I got baptized, rebaptized myself in November, and just kind of been on a different walk in the relationship aspect right now. It's really, really interesting. I've learned a lot. I've gone to therapy. I've had a lot of relationship counseling because I want to understand you women, and I also want to understand myself. And I think because what we're gonna get into, it kind of is like leads me to this next question of, do you even think you're ready for a relationship? The relationship that you desire, but honestly, the relationship that probably everybody desires. Everybody desires companionship because we were made for each other.
Yes.
But just because you desire it does not mean you're ready for it.
I think in order to be ready for it, I would have to have somebody that's like as busy as I am and as goal driven as I am, because I'm barely home as it is. And I know for a guy who doesn't necessarily have the same schedule as me, they're going to be like, well, you're never home. And then I'm going to be like, well, why are you always home? Should you not be,
Yeah.
I feel like we should be building each other. And if we're both busy, then we're both busy. And then we find a place to meet and then have those moments together.
Would you believe that's why you're single right now? Because you can't find that?
Yes. And plus I'm hard to deal with. I know that.
Can you elaborate on hard to deal with?
I am a jealous person.
Okay.
And I expect a lot. I expect a lot because I give a lot. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not like toxic or anything.
Yeah, because I don't think that's hard that would be classified as hard to deal with.
To some men it is.
To the wrong man it is, for sure.
Okay. To the wrong man, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because so my question for you, because I got a statement. I don't think that. Go ahead.
Also, I've been told I'm high maintenance.
Okay.
And that's not a man's job to keep me high maintenance. I keep myself high maintenance. I think it scares a lot of guys away. And I work with a lot of guys. So that's another. It's like so many things. Okay. So many things.
So here's an honest question. All of the fluff aside.
Okay.
Do you think you're capable of being in a relationship right now?
No. Absolutely not.
Okay. And why would you say that?
Because I'm too busy. And I'm too focused on myself. Just no BS. Like, I don't want to have to give up anything with boxing just to suffice a man right now.
Okay. So here we go. We have that's good, but it's honesty. It is very much. It's very much honesty because we have our desires versus our reality. But when
can they mesh?
I don't even know about meshing because I also agree that you're 100% not ready for a relationship based on your life.
Oh, okay.
And this is me being a friend. Like us having a friendly conversation, right?
Yes.
And the only reason why I would say that is because of the fact of it's a priority type thing, right? And you're heavily in your masculine. You know the whole masculine, feminine energy. It's kind of like taboo words right now.
Yes.
Not everybody uses them correctly. But you're heavily in your masculine. When you're building an empire, when you're working, when you're the breadwinner, you're heavily in your masculine, and that doesn't leave room for a man to come in and do all of those things for you, or even just be able to provide. Because you're kind of like a lot of these women who had no choice. A lot of people didn't have a choice. It's like I had to become the man and the woman. I had to do everything. Yes. And you just became really good at it. But there's like There's a moment to where it's like, if you want companionship, it's like, I gotta move to my fit, which is like taking.
Oh, I see where you're coming from. You're talking about like, I have to take a step back and let the man be a man. And I'm not able to do that at this current moment because I'm so in control.
That's one aspect.
You're right. I agree.
One aspect of it. And then another one is it's time, because one thing I do know, to build the reason why I know about what works in a relationship is because I've done everything that doesn't work. I've made all the mistakes on putting business. Go ahead.
Well, how do you know that it's what doesn't work?
Well, the reason why it doesn't work. So I'm going to tell you why. First of all, the Bible is the most amazing book.
Yes.
Because it's a book of wisdom.
Absolutely.
Prior to this last relationship breakup, I hadn't been too much involved with reading the Bible consistently or with any intention or any purpose. Mm-hmm. And once we had that breakup, my first Google search was how to be a good husband. It was my first amazing Google search. And a bunch of things popped up, but there was a video that sent me on this rabbit hole on YouTube, and everything was biblical. Mm-hmm. Everything was biblical. And they give you order and they give you steps as a man and as a woman, like how you have to be. Like there's literally like a man is this, a man is this, a man is this, a woman is like this, and there's order and there's a certain hierarchy that you get to follow. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I know that it didn't work for me is because everything that I was supposed to be doing, I wasn't doing. Like we're talking about laboring, right? Laboring for your family, laboring for your partner, me laboring. So for in a relationship, me laboring for you, even though you don't necessarily need it, mm-hmm. I'm laboring for you, but I'm doing it not because I have to do it, but because I want to do it, because I have a certain level of love for you. Mm-hmm. I have to be committed to learning you. I have to be committed to loving you unconditionally. I have to be committed to learning how to lead us and our family. And I have all of these things that I have to do. And what I was doing was I wasn't doing any of that. You know, want to know why? Because I was self-sufficient. I was a selfish person. Mm-hmm. And somebody like, and I think I don't want to look at that word as a negative word, because some of us are survivors. You're a survivor. Mm-hmm. You got out of situations, you had to survive. Mm-hmm. But because you had to survive, you became selfish. You became a self-sufficient person because you're doing everything now. Yeah. And I had realized that my business had got to a point to where I didn't have to be that way anymore. And you probably make enough money and got stuff situated to where you might not necessarily have to be as hitting the pavement anymore. Like stuff will be cool if you decided to take a little bit of a break. Yeah. And so I had to realize that there has to be a moment if you want a family, if you want a relationship, if you want a successful marriage, you have to learn how to unplug from the system sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I don't think either one of us have figured out how to detach in order to attach to somebody else.
So that's why I say, in order to find somebody you have to find somebody like yourself. Mm-hmm. Because then when you do detach, you detach together, because you know what that looks like. You know that you two are both busy. So let's just say, for the sake of an argument, you do everything that you're supposed to do for a woman and it still doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Then what?
Okay, and I got answers for days, to be honest with you. My job is to be a man. Right. My job isn't to dictate whether that woman is being a woman. If I choose correctly, mm-hmm. that's the choice at the beginning. Mm-hmm. I have to choose correctly a partner who I feel like is going to be not a follower necessarily of just me, but she's also following God and his orders and the things that he has. Yes. So by default, if she's following and I'm following and we're following together, the chances are, and there's actually statistics on people who have like, I don't know what you want to call it, a biblical or a spiritual, like foundation in their relationship or marriage, have a way higher success rate because they have rules. They're not just trying to figure it out anymore. They're actually, it's the difference between figuring out and following
God
the rules.
God is in the center of their
God is in the center. So they know actually where to go to. How do I be a woman? Okay, I'm going to go. Now, my relationships fail because I would choose somebody who chooses to try and do it their way or be the worldly way or the whole independent women movement, which makes me absolutely sick to my stomach, which is why I don't like Beyonce. But we ain't gonna talk about that. Right?
I'm an independent woman.
Yes, okay, independent. Independent doesn't mean lonely though.
Well,
It
yeah,
does.
I mean, it does. But I didn't choose to be independent. I had to be.
Exactly. Exactly. We're both survivors, right?
Mhm.
Or of whatever our surroundings or our circumstances where we figured out how to get it. But at what point do you say, I don't want to be? Because women at an alarming rate right now are finding out they really don't want to be independent women. They really want to be inside of like their masculine. They just want, now they want to be inside their feminine. They want to be taken care of. Like they can bring stuff to the table that like, okay, I make money, great, but I still want to be taken care of. That's what a man is supposed to do. If you right now, if I said, okay, you can have life any way you want it right now with the relationship with a person. Most women, you know what they would say? I just want to be a wife. I want to be a wife. I want to be, if finances aside, I want to be happy in the things that I do on a day-to-day basis. I want to be a wife. I want to be, because that's at the core, that's feminine nature, is to be a nurturer, not to be a worker. We do it out of necessity.
Can I be, well,
let's go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
In my profession, I am a nurturer.
Okay.
And then when I go home, I'm still a nurturer. But when you said that, you said most women want to be a wife. I do want to be a wife. However, I don't want to have to stop what I'm doing. I love what I do so much.
Absolutely. And you know, the beautiful thing about it is I think the same way. I think there gets to be, because I asked you a question one time, one of our personal conversations of like, when is the last time you've taken a vacation? When is the last time that Coach Kammmm has been on vacation?
It's been a while. I go on work vacations.
When is the last time Coach has been on vacation?
It's been years.
It's been years. So the thing is, I don't think we have to stop, but I do think we have to be able to have the ability to push pause. Because I'm 36, right? And so my objective is to figure out how to maximize my business. But my top priority right now is husband and training. Because that's what God wanted. God didn't want me just to be a worker. He didn't create Adam and then just left him by himself. He created Eve and they were supposed to do this thing together. Our job as humans is not just to work. It is to procreate. It is to take care of the land, but it's also to cultivate the youth as well. And so I had to realize my mind was only work, work, work. Even though, yes, I speak to hundreds and thousands of people a year. I travel all over the world. I nurture people. I give people all of these, whatever. I change lives. You change lives. We change lives. But then we go home and we're by ourselves.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Oh man, there's nothing worse than giving to everybody
and then coming
home to nothing.
Well, I mean, you come home to your girls.
Yeah, but it's like companionship.
I get what you're saying.
Companionship is the thing.
Yeah.
Like that. As I'm diving more into reading the Bible, man, like marriage is at the center of a lot of things. Covenants are at the center of a lot of things, and so. The real question for you is, do you feel like any point, is it coming soon for you? Because I know you get asked out a lot. I know you get, your DMs probably look like, I don't even really know. I'm not even sure I would ever want to take a peek inside of your DMs. It's probably a hot mess in there. But at what point do you see you taking a step back from the career, not throwing it away, because I don't think that has to be the case, but do you see yourself being able to take a step back to actually cultivate a relationship?
Yes, I do. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, is that anytime soon, do you think? Or are you just waiting on the right person?
I'm just waiting on the right person.
Okay, and that leads right into the next question. What is the right? The right kind of person?
Like, who is the right person? How do you know if a person...
Tell me, you say you waiting for him, how you know he about to...
well, okay, like, look, I just want to go back to something you said earlier. You said that I'm very in my masculine energy, but if the right man comes along, I am very, very aware and I know how to be a woman. I know how to be submissive. I'm like that now. Like that has my masculine. I don't even think I have masculine energy.
You for sure do.
How?
Well, it is. Look, there's things about men and women that we might not necessarily agree with ourselves. Okay. I have a lot of feminine energy, a ton of it, because I have daughters, so I have to be able. I tap into it a lot,
and right? I have a son.
Perfect. So I have to know that I cannot let the feminine energy dominate them. I have to have it. Okay. You have to have your masculine energy because of this field that you're in.
Yes.
But it dominates your life. But I know, but for me, I know I've seen soft cam before.
Yes, you have.
I've seen soft cam. I also know that you have the sensitivity that you have, the softness that you do have, it's there, but it's hidden by a lot of masculine energy.
Yes.
For protective purposes, probably. Who knows?
I wish I kept my life on right now. When I'm recording, so it's okay.
You could have turned it on at any moment.
I just don't want to like reach, and then that camera's like, "What is she doing?"
No, see the cool part about production is when I do this thing right now, I can just I can go and just have it facing me. Like when I went to go grab my water, it's not going to be on the live. So like my phone is dying too. So the wheels fall off.
Sure, so the wheels fall off.
Where are we picking back up though? What did you want to?
So no, we can. No, well, let me wait till like it populates. But we were talking about how do we know if the person is the right person? Just
yes.
Give it like a moment.
Oh no,
once people's there you go. Okay, go ahead. Ask the question. I hope they can hear you.
Me? Oh yeah. Hope maybe I'll talk a little louder. I don't know. But how do you know that the person that you're waiting for is the right person, if you're even waiting for that person at all?
I wouldn't know because everybody looks good at first, right?
Okay.
Everybody looks like they're the perfect person or they're a good person at first, and then you meet them, you date them, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're like, who the heck is that? Like, who is this person that I've been with for so long? I don't even know this side of him. So I don't know. How do you know if you've met the right woman?
Okay. First of all, what qualities are you looking for?
Oh my gosh.
That's how you start.
In a man. Okay. Yes. I don't have a checklist. It's just like if I feel that they have the right qualities, then I know that I go off of my dad.
Okay.
I go off of my dad.
That's where a lot of women default to, which is perfect. It's perfect.
And my dad is a great man. He has provided for He's provided for my mom. He's taken care of his family. He's made sure that we were safe. He loves unconditionally. Yeah, I mean, that's what.
So you see, you're one of the fortunate people who've got a chance to witness a really good man take care of a woman.
Yes.
So I didn't get that. So for me, my journey was a lot longer to learn how to be a provider or to be all of those loving things. Cause my mom divorced twice. I've only met my dad twice in my entire life. So we had
really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So, well, for me, my mom left him when I was like in diapers because he didn't want anything to do with his son. Fine, crazy, but I told you, he was a Golden Gloves boxer.
You didn't tell me that.
You don't remember? So my dad was a badass boxer in Grand Rapids.
So you're supposed to be a great boxer too.
It's I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I played basketball, so I don't know. But he wanted to focus on his career more than being a parent.
Okay.
And so my mom left him, and I was too young to remember anything. But my mom from there never had a successful relationship. I've never seen it.
So do you think because your mom has never had a successful relationship, you will never have a successful relationship?
Nope, that's not what I mean at all. What has to happen for me?
What do you think?
No, but it's the reason why my relationships have failed because I haven't figured out how to be for a woman yet because I haven't seen it. So you know how you have just told that beautiful story about your dad, and I'm sure you have very similar stories about your mom as well. How you have these stories.
Yes.
So you have been nurtured. So here's the thing: most men, and then men listen to this too as well. Wherever y'all listen to that, men at some point they learn how to take care of a woman two ways.
Okay.
Either by being the lesson or learning the lesson. You learn the lessons when you're growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you have great surroundings and great environments, and you have a big brother, big cousin who's put you on game, or you have a father who you like, okay, I can model myself after my father because he really took care of my mother.
Right.
Or like me, you become the lesson by having your heart broken, by going through, all of these different things and having things not work.
Yeah.
And one of my friends put it beautifully in one of her podcasts, and I put it on my story. She said she dates older men.
Okay.
And she dates older men because they would have either have learned the lesson or had their heart broken and they don't want to go through that lesson again. And I didn't understand that until my last relationship.
What is classified as an older man?
I don't think there is. I think just at the older, and you get up in your 30s and your 40s. Because you know what's crazy? I'm meeting a lot of men because you have a lot of probably 24, 25-year-olds.
They're super young. They're super, super young.
Who have no idea how to be a man yet.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault.
Right.
It's not their fault. And it's not their fault because they hadn't been taught. I hadn't been taught. You know what I was told repeatedly in my relationship? I'm a good guy who doesn't know how to be a good partner.
What? Well, how does that work?
You can be a really good person and not know how to take care of somebody. You can be a good...
Oh, you know what? I know exactly how that works. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. See, yeah. So you can be a really good person. And so I was a good person, but it's like I really had a strong desire to be a good boyfriend, a good husband. I had no idea how. Yeah. Because you don't know what you don't know. It's like, I want to be a badass boxer. I walk in your gym tomorrow, 2 left feet. Oh my God. I'm going to be a hot mess. Yeah. And so it's like, because I hadn't been groomed around that my whole life. Mm-hmm. So it's the same type of conversation. So how do you know that somebody is your person? One is you're aligned with exactly what it is that you know that you want. And you have boundaries that don't allow the things, any sort of red flag or any sort of anything. Like, I think we allow looks and lifestyle to kind of cloud our judgment sometimes. I believe so. And I've only had, it's the word discernment, right? You have to have a level of discernment to say, I'm really attracted to you, but this ain't gonna work. Like, you don't want to have kids, or you don't believe in going to church, or whatever it is, whatever your value system is. I'm sure there are things that your dad did. You're like, I need my man to be like this, and if he's not, sorry. My dad ain't let my mom open no doors. My dad ain't let my mom pay no bills. Whatever it is, like, everybody has their things. So you kind of already know, I guess.
I do. One of my homegirls, she asked me a question the other day. She said, "Would you date a guy who works in a fast food restaurant?" I don't know. I don't know. I mean, sure. Sure. The reason why I say I'm so like, I don't want to answer that question fully is because I've come across a lot of men who, just because of who I'm supposed to be now, they use my image as a stepping stone to something. Like, they either think I make too much, a lot of money, they can use me, and whatever the case is. So I don't know. I don't know if I would. I'm not saying that I won't or I can't. I've just been, I have so many walls up, like a million walls that you have to be a superhero, like, to break all my walls down. Like, you damn near have to be like an Avenger to break all my walls down. And I just don't, I don't know. Like, I mean, I would, but then I would have to know that their intentions are good. as well.
It's a perfect word because I was actually getting ready to talk about intentions. Because one of the biggest things that I've learned is that the reason why that question is difficult because you don't know that guy's intentions. But what I would say is like, no, if I was the guy, I wouldn't even be. This is the thing. If his intentions are just to date for sport or because he physically likes you, cool, go ahead. If that's where you're at in your life, yes, date the guy at the restaurant because you're not trying to build anything with him, or date the guy at the fast food joint because you're not trying to build anything with him.
Okay.
But if you're trying to build a life, I can imagine that a guy that probably works at Jack in the Box is probably not focused on building a life and a family. He's probably just dating for companionship. He's probably dating for, a good time. He's dating for sport.
Right.
So where is your intentions? If your intentions is to be a wife and to be all that, nah. If I'm not, first of all, I ain't dating if I work at a restaurant. Me personally. I didn't date for 5 years because I wasn't where I wanted to be. Because I know the kind of man that I want to be for.
Well, you have your head on straight.
If I did,
you wouldn't be single.
I wouldn't be single.
Is what he's getting to.
I wouldn't be single right now if I had my head on straight. It's on straight now.
Well, maybe you're single because the person that God wants you to be with is still out there.
And I'm not mad about it. It's rough. We're going through breakups is rough, just in general. Because you put all your eggs in this basket and you're just like, and it just doesn't.
You don't get left with one egg. All the eggs are cracked and poured over. I get it. Right. And then now you don't want to give any eggs to people. Because you're like, how do I know if you're not going to break my eggs? I get it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Sorry. I mean, that's what he says.
It's true. Hey, no, but I'm not mad about that. But the thing really is for me, the reason why I can sit here today and have these conversations is because I know that my intentions are the next person I marry is going to be my wife. Yes. That is my...
I hope so. You mean the next person you date is going to be your wife?
The next person I date. The next person, honestly, the next person who I come into and I allow in my life, and I allow to be around my daughters, and I allow to groom any sort of partnership with, my intentions with that person is to marry them.
That's good.
So I had to realize that I lived my whole life without those intentions when I was dating people. Like, you can probably go on dates right now and it's like, well, I'm dating for what? What will Coach Kamm go on a date for right now?
I'm not dating at all. Because I just don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my time. Number one, I'm too old, okay? I'm going to be 39 this year.
Okay.
And I just do not want to date as a spectacle or a sport. I want to date because I know this man is going to be with me and he's going to build a family with me or whatever the case is. I do not want to date because I want to know your favorite color and then go to the next guy and then know his favorite basketball team. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, that just sounds so exhausting. Like, it's so...
Okay, so what's the vetting process like when somebody approaches Coach Kamm? I'm sure you get a lot of things that might look great, but what's the vetting process like?
I was about to say something so smart right now.
Go ahead.
What did you do?
Man,
you go about it.
But it is not about me though. They want to know about you.
Sorry.
I can talk.
I thought you had answers for days.
I do, but I've been talking too much.
Okay, so sorry. I'm sorry because where was I at when we first met? I wasn't nearly who I am now, right? Okay. I don't know. Like, don't ask me about boxing, please. Please don't do that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me tell you what's in my DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Dick pics.
Mm. Don't do that, guys.
Guys singing me songs.
Oh.
Poems. Guys telling me they would marry me in a heartbeat. Men's social security numbers. Guys asking me what my home address is so they could come visit me. I have voicemails of men screaming at me, professing their love to me.
A lot of love bombing going on.
Yeah. A lot of guys telling me, I had posted a video saying girls want tacos and flowers. And if you look at the comments, Guys are like, I'll buy you a whole taco restaurant. Very nice. I think I've gotten like 12 gift cards in the past 24 hours to taco spots. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like this is what happens though.
Celebrity. You are at a celebrity status, and you're trying to look at you trying to be humble about it, but you're out of. That's what happens.
Okay, how would you approach somebody like?
You know what? You know what I think is the hardest thing to do nowadays is to try to get at somebody over social media.
So how would you do it?
Because if I was to get your attention on social media, it would either be because you were a fan of me or we knew each other.
I'm sorry.
This just in general for somebody like yourself.
Okay.
Just in general, not just me. I'm just not.
Okay,
me.
got you.
But if I'm a guy who's going to get your attention on social media,
me, Coach.
Yes. If I'm just a guy out here, and I want to get your attention on social
media. Okay.
It's almost impossible because of the nonsense. You have to get filtered through the BS. So you would have to either know me already in some capacity, or you would have to be like the game. You recognize him being here. I would have to be somebody of a certain status level to at least be able to get a look.
This is true.
So that's why I don't really like the whole meeting somebody on social media, because it's like, how does the person, because there's probably somebody in the DM
who's good for me,
and but they're trying so hard, they're trying to stand out.
Yeah, they do.
And but I can imagine that's why it's the good and the bad about social media. It's like, how do you filter it?
I do have a question though. Can I use the restroom?
Yes, you can for sure use the restroom. We're gonna keep rolling.
We're not cutting?
No, okay. We're gonna edit this out. But go ahead. Go and then we'll make.
Of course it is.
All right, cool. So now we're back from our break, and we talked a lot about relationships, and we kind of got to a point to where we just, I don't know. I was gonna ask something though before I allow you to ask me questions.
Okay.
And because 39 this year. Kamm pushing 40, right?
Yes.
Has the thought came across your mind to say, maybe I need to be intentionally out here trying to be a wife, attracting a husband?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The thought has crossed your mind?
Yes.
Okay, so when is the time to act upon this thought?
No, I'm acting upon it now.
You think that's where you're at right now?
In the past, if you looked at my social media, I was very, I would post thirst traps, for the lack of a better term. And I realized you're not going to find a good man that way. Let's just be real.
Absolutely.
So I'm very mindful of how I talk, how I act, how I... Because unfortunately for me, my social media is my biggest stage. So whatever I do, it's looked at through a magnifying glass. And if there is any man that's going to look at me at how I used to be before, they're going to be like, man, she tripping. Like, she don't look like she want to settle down. So you want to have that decorum about yourself. So, and I've done very, very well. And it's also good for me because I got a lot of little girls looking at me anyway. So
would you say that right now, Coach Kamm wants to be one of your intentions would be to be a wife?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Does that kind of almost negates the conversation that we had earlier about you being ready?
I mean, how can you really be ready?
Absolutely.
For anything?
Yeah, I think I didn't know this, but.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why. One of my good friends said her dad told her this, that when intention is absent, abuse is inevitable, right? But if your intention
meets preparation,
when your
victory
intention is there you go. When your intention is in the line, then you actually are prepared. I said I'm doing husband preparation work. Do you know what that entails? I have to learn how to be soft. I have to learn. You know what a man... things that I learned about what a man is supposed to be in a relationship. Crazy. I'm not supposed to be passive. I'm not supposed to be aggressive. I'm supposed to be assertive. I'm never supposed to yell at my wife. I'm supposed to make sure that my family, meaning my kids and my partner, I'm supposed to make sure that whatever they got going on, I can bring them back to their soft. I'm supposed to make sure that the family, like I have so much responsibility as a man. I have to, one, acknowledge it, and two, be ready to take on that responsibility. But then there are also things as a woman. There's a lot of things in the good book that tells women on how to be prepared to be a wife. Mm-hmm. So there is a level of preparedness that you can have. Now, do you have it all figured out? Hell no.
No.
That's why relationships have issues.
Right.
But I can ask you, Kamm, are you ready to be a wife? Are you prepared to be? Is that the phase of your relationship? And on one hand, it's like, yes. But on the other hand, it's like, currently, the way that my life is constructed, maybe not. Yeah. And that's a clash. Because if you meet a guy like me who's ready to be like a husband, I'll be like, oh, shoot, it's giving confusion.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm not straddling two situations here. But I've been single for so long. I don't even know.
What is so long?
It's been years. Oh. It's been years. But thankfully for my foundation, I do know how to be a good woman.
And I can take, I feel it. I'm an honest person. I can feel like you're going to be a great partner, and even more so when you figure out how to detach from the world. Yeah. And attach more to partnership and companionship and vacations. You need to be on a vacation.
Vacation?
Yeah, vacation.
Yeah, I need a bay to go on a vacation.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta do all. You gotta go experience and do all those things in life. I would say do the little balcony. The little balcony thing. We're not talking about that.
What balcony
I am
thing?
A wholesome man, so we're not gonna talk about.
Oh my! This is insane. Yep. See what I mean?
That's probably one of them calling looking for you, trying to get you some taco.
Yeah. Well, that goes. You said you were a wholesome man. Yes. Question number one coming from Coach Kamm. How is it being celibate?
You know what? Oh, what do you mean? How is
it being a man and saving yourself for marriage?
To be honest, but I think with the celibacy, there's you got to kind of figure out like what are you doing it for and how long you're doing it. Are you saving? Are you going to be in alignment with God's provision of saying until marriage? Or is it like you're just doing it because it's almost like fasting, because you want to have a little bit more self-control. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was doing it for at the beginning, was I wanted to have a little bit more self-control. I will tell you this, when you're engaged in like sexual acts, you start to sexualize women way more.
Okay.
It's because you're visually always and I got tired of this. I got tired of looking at every single woman and finding something sexually attractive about them, or trying to, or even thinking in my head, I'm like, damn, yeah, she was nice.
So you don't do that anymore?
Less.
Okay.
Way less, because it's not a thing in my mind. And even if I do, I immediately catch myself now.
That's good.
Like, because I read the book of Proverbs, right? The book of Proverbs is like, I look at it as the book of wisdom. It gives us the best rules in life. Mm-hmm. I think if anybody is going to start reading the Bible, they should start with the book of Proverbs. Because when I was reading it, I immediately knew that I was being disrespectful and dishonorable to God, because he wants me to take care of the women that he's gifted us way more. If I sexualize a woman, I am sinning. Because I'm looking at her only for her sexual value, and I'm only supposed to do that with the woman who I've made a covenant with, which is my wife.
Which is your wife, right?
And if I'm sexualizing every woman, I'm sinning every day. That's why things like pornography and all of those things are like, they're like just poison that keeps you in this. So for me, at the beginning, it was rough. It's rough because not having sex it wasn't that. It's the thought of it. It's just like, because being the kind of people that we are, let's just be honest, we can make a couple calls and it just be all right.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it's like when you have access like that, to deny yourself access is like,
that's super self-control.
And that was the whole point of it.
I'm proud of you.
The whole point of it. That's why I told you, like, I'm not drinking, because I want to remain in my, in my mind, like my right mind. And I also was like, I wanted to do it because I wanted to see how much self-respect that I could gain for women, because I don't know if you know this, but in the Bible, it talks a lot about, it refers to wisdom as women, as her, right?
Because they're the closest thing to life.
And so I started to understand the value that God placed on women. And it's like, man's job is literally to love women like he loved church, and church was his wife. And so my job is to, whether you're my female friend, whether you're my partner, whether you're my daughter, whether you're my mom, my job is to treat you as if God would, like, as if God handed me to you. Like, that was like, bam, like he put me in your life to take care of you, not necessarily to be your husband or nothing like that. But I have to be a certain kind of way with every woman that I encountered. And I realized that I was just sexualizing too much. I was dating, and I was just trying to, like, the old Steven was a hot mess.
The new Steven is not such a hot mess.
He's trying not to be.
That's good.
He's trying. He's very intentional, and he's aware. He's
good.
Aware. You don't become perfect, you know. It's like you just become aware.
Yes.
And so my awareness is not like, I'm not, even with Instagram. Instagram also makes it really easy to go down this pathway of, like, overly sexualizing women, and women will make it easy for you nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, I scroll my timeline. I love my timeline now, by the way. It's a bunch of, like, wisdom. It's a bunch of, like, people getting married. It's a bunch of, like, it used to be
algorithm.
half naked, gym,
yeah.
cheek. There's too much going on.
Wow.
And I was like, bro, you can't lie. The algorithm will tell you the truth
on
the things you've been double tapping.
Right.
And so, but yeah, it's a good. Hopefully that answers your
That
question.
does. It does answer.
Any more questions that Coach Kamm has for me?
Yeah. So I know we were on the phone, and I asked you. I saw something that you posted on your story, and it said, "You know how to do everything but be a good." What was it? Be a good man, or I don't want to. It's not verbatim, but yeah.
Talking to one of my friends.
But love a woman. There it is.
Yes.
You know how to do everything but love a
yes.
woman.
We're talking about, like, the Renaissance type of guy that I am. Like, literally with this podcast, right? I'm recording it. I'm gonna edit it. I got all the cameras set up. Like, I just do a lot. And we were talking about that. Yeah. And he was like, "Yeah, man, you know how to do everything but love a woman." And I was like,
wow.
But I'm so at a point in my life to where I don't take offense to anything. And I think that's why we can have that conversation. Even though it was like, I think he knows where I'm at right now in versus where I was. And so, yeah, but what did you want to know about that?
Why is that something that is so hard for you?
But I think that kind of goes back to
you finding yourself.
The point. Not necessarily that, but it's like, I was oblivious, and like a lot of men, oblivious to, like, a woman's emotions, a woman's needs, a woman's, just who I was far too emotional. I took things too personal. I didn't understand female nature, male nature. I only knew survival. I only know get to my, like, one of my good friends, Steph is Cole. He says, get to the chicken bag. That's all I ever knew was get a career, survive. It was never to take care of another person.
Okay.
And so I knew how to do everything because I can do stuff that requires just me to be good. But I couldn't get out of my own way to figure out how to make me and my partner good. Watching the signs. You saying something's bothering you, me not noticing that what I'm doing is selfish. And I didn't know I was a selfish person. But I had to admit that I was, because everything that I was doing in my life was for my own gain. And I got 1 million people across the world who are, like, champion the kind of person that I am. And then there's a group of people who are like, yeah, but you don't know how to take care of no woman. You know?
That's rough.
It's rough. But I would much rather have somebody be honest with me and tell me that than I go my entire life and I can't figure out why I can't have a successful relationship. Yeah. And in that moment, I agreed with him that I had no idea how to properly love a woman because I didn't know how to listen to a woman. And I didn't know how to communicate with a woman. And there's a sense, I'm going to tell you, to be honest, there's a sense of embarrassment that some men have if they don't have it all figured out.
Okay.
And so for me, I didn't realize that my biggest and best teacher was going to be women. I didn't. It was an embarrassment until I figured out that's how it was supposed to be.
You have 2 girls.
I have kids that have taught me how to be loving, have taught me unconditional love. Yes. But when it comes to the companionship...
No, I'm saying they're also going to teach you lessons.
You know, and they've already taught me so much. They're 9, going on 19. And
I know.
I got amazing kids. I'm so grateful for the kind of kids that I have. They have taught me levels to like love that I don't know what they're going to teach me. I have no idea. You have a whole grown son. You probably learned a lot yourself. So I'm on that journey as well. But I think the first thing that I had to do was admit that who I was no good for. I would have destroyed any woman that I dated. Because I wouldn't have been. Yeah, all I knew how to do was walk on the right side of the street.
Well, that's actually really compelling for you to say. So that's good. It's good to hear a man actually admit something like that. Because most men who don't have their shit together will go, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I know how to do this. And I know how to do that. But don't know anything from a bag of bricks. So
it's pride and ego.
Yeah.
Pride and ego are what have a lot of men out here sad and down bad right now.
You show a lot of growth. So
yeah. And that's just, I'm excited though. I'm excited. That's why I even put out these cameras and started recording and putting it out to the world, because the first thing that we have to do as men is to realize that we need women. And women need men.
Yes.
And we have to stop this whole thing of competition. Who's more important? Who's the
right.
pride? It's low-key ridiculous.
It is so ridiculous.
And you see it more and more and more, and it's just like, it's like we're fighting to be right, not to complete each other.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, my way is my way is just like, does somebody have to win? You know, Andy Elliott. Andy Elliott is a guy on social media. He's super popular. And
I haven't heard of him.
He's like he got famous for like having a guy take his shirt off. That was one of his employees. And he told him, like, if he didn't get abs in a certain amount of time, he was fired.
Oh, okay.
So it's like he has a certain standard. But he says his best teacher was his wife. And we had a private training with him and Eric Worre. And he was giving us a lot of game on how his wife is the single person that changed his life because of the accountability that she was bestowing upon him. Like, she was making him step up, as a man. And I think for me, that became... it's like a hard truth. It's like, so you mean to tell me that in order for me to become complete, I have to be out of my way. I have to throw away my pride. I have to throw away my ego and teach me. Yes. Like, woman, teach me. Yes. And that's what a lot of men don't want to do that. I watched the video and I talked about it in my last podcast where this guy was literally like, if she don't text me, I'm not texting her. If she doesn't call me, I'm not calling her. She doesn't say hi to me, I'm not saying hi to her. All of these, like, it's like a competitive thing, and I'm just like, no, bro, you're the man.
That's where chivalry comes in.
You're the man. Yeah. Why are you trying to do what the woman does?
Exactly.
It's like,
that sounded so feminine when you just said that.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I commented on the video too, like, bro, this is what our issue is.
The problem is
men don't know how to be men, and women don't know how to be women, because women are trying to be men, and men are acting like women. Yeah. And it's like, well, okay, how do we reset this? And I think we reset this by realizing we are a team. Men were put here, women were put here for men. We were put here to be a team and to dominate together. And I think women have to stop thinking that they don't need men. That's why I said I don't like the independent woman thing, because it insinuates that you don't need anybody, and we do. And men have to stop acting like we don't need women, like we can they're just like this, and they're not. Like, a good woman is not a dime a dozen. No. Especially in today's society. Right. So if you do happen to come across a good, solid woman, bro, learn from her. Yeah. And that would be my advice to any man. You got a good woman around you that's willing to put up with you not know how to be a man yet. Learn from her, especially if she's willing to teach your punk. Like, hey, be willing to learn. And I think that was the thing that changed my life forever, was to realize, like, my best teacher ever in my life was my ex-girlfriend. I learned the most because I was finally willing to be receptive to the fact that a woman was going to probably change my life.
Yeah.
So, we got any more questions? Any more questions from you, or anything you want to share?
No, I now you got me thinking about my life. Now I'm wondering what I need to change. I know I'm in my own way a lot, and I self-sabotage, so that needs to change.
But sure. I told you I was gonna have a lot to say to you, though.
Well, I know, as you always do.
Yeah, but I think it's because I'm at such a interesting point of my life. I want people, like, to want to be clear on what they want, especially as we get a little older. I'm like, the last thing that I want to do is to go into my 40s and I'm still trying to figure out what I want. I should at least know what I want and be on that path. And I think when I actually took a step back and I had to realize what is my purpose, because we can work until forever. Like, we can look up and we 45 years old and it's like, damn, we still in the grind.
Yeah.
And you haven't even made, and then you get to a point where you're like, dang, like, do I want kids again? Does Coach Kamm want more kids?
No, she does, yeah.
Okay. So, like, I love how you talk about yourself in
Third person.
Third person is crazy. Like, yeah, yes, she does. Okay. Okay, cool. Coach Kamm wants kids. Coach Kamm wants to be married. When does that journey start? Because to know and to not do is to not know at all.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like, for right now, I don't think that's not something I heavily think about. When I wake up in the morning, I heavily think about what I'm doing. I am living my purpose as a woman by myself. But as far as being married, I don't know. I mean, that's a hard question to ask. Truthfully, it's a super hard question to ask.
Yeah, it is. I told you we was gonna have a couple of those, because I think because I be on a lot of your conversations. I be dipping in and out of your lives here, and even when we talk, it seems like it always somehow goes back to relationships.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, it's like relationships, and in some capacity, like, I don't know, you get some very interesting questions. And you kind of joke around a lot when it does come to, the relationship aspect. But I also think that there's a point where we gotta all be honest with ourselves, and before we ever think about intruding somebody else's space, their life, know where you're at in yours. Right. For me, I can take any woman. Like, I've been all. Like, I don't know if I'm in high attraction mode right now. I don't know, but I'm like, no, for many reasons. You want to know why? Because my intentions are clear. And God tests you like that.
Yep.
And my intentions are to be an amazing husband, to have the wife that I choose bring me closer, to not bring me away from God.
Right.
I want a son. And I believe that God is going to bless me with a son, because that camera just died. Perfect. It's perfect. We're wrapping up. But I believe that God is going to bless me with a son, because I get an opportunity to take care of somebody and raise him better, to be a better man than I was sooner in life. And so I think my main objective is that. And so everybody I meet right now might not meet that criteria. They might not meet that, and so, that's kind of where I'm at. But is any final thoughts?
No, I am so humbled to be the first guest here. And I think this was a great conversation.
This is a great conversation. So look, check this out, you guys. Follow. I'm put her at Instagram, but that's where it goes down. Not in the DMs, so stay out of there. I already told y'all the filtration process is real, and it almost doesn't happen. right? She ain't giving y'all no time.
First of all, I give time to who I want to give time to.
And this
blue
is
check or not.
Oh, the blue checks is whatever nowadays. Cause I can go buy one tonight. And the way that the blue checks work now. But look, guys, this has been another amazing episode of the Way to Klutch podcast, where we talk about faith, family, fitness, and apparently relationships and all things under the sun. And and I definitely want to say thank you for being my first guest. I hope your users got some value. I have one more question though.
Oh my goodness.
Not me. This isn't a me question.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm starving.
This isn't a me. This isn't a me question.
Okay.
But
it's a you question.
This is a question from my DMs from somebody.
Okay.
And this is a good way to end the podcast.
Okay.
And you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to get up from my seat. I'm going to have you sit in this main seat.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you, we're going to switch.
Okay.
I want to get you on the good camera. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead. Slide on in there. Cool. Boom. Okay. So this last question, any advice, this is what they say, any advice she has for women who struggle putting themselves first without feeling selfish or guilty? This is like a closer for you.
I gotta raise the mic.
Yeah, I told you it was a good one.
Any advice for women with putting themselves first without?
Because you've done a good job at it.
Putting yourself first means you're taking care of yourself. And when you take care of yourself, you now can pour to other people. So there's no such thing as that being selfish. Because then in order to give, you have to, like Steven said, pour into your own cup. And I think self-love is super important. And people will understand that you have to do for yourself in order to do for others. When you're in an airplane, right? In order to save the person next to you, you have to put on your own gear first. You have to save yourself first. So I think you really just have to know your purpose in life. And when you do that, you have to love yourself, and in doing that purpose for other people.
Okay, last question then.
I thought that was the last.
It's the last piece because you got to end. What advice would you have for a young lady who somebody is obviously wanting to ask this question? What advice would you have for that little girl or that young lady who's struggling putting themselves first? What would you tell a young woman who is struggling with that?
A young woman who's struggling to put herself first.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the problem, I don't put myself first. So giving advice to a young woman who wants to know how to do that is very hard. But I'm going to tell you something. One day, you're going to give and you're going to give and you're going to give. And I felt this the other day. I was driving and I'm talking about health-wise right now. I almost crashed because I fell asleep at the wheel of my car. And that's just one way to put it, because I don't sleep. And me not sleeping and me not taking care of myself is not putting myself first. You're going to lose everything that you've worked hard for if you don't put yourself first. So get that rest, get that time, and realize that you are important to this world.
And that's how we're going to end the Way to Klutch podcast episode with Coach Kamm. Thank you so much for being here today. What's this finger for?
That question was directed towards me because I don't put myself.
Man, it's funny how that works. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Y'all take care.